intercepted, and into the end zone goes Marty Tadman.
Now let's take a look back at another great MVP performance in Boise State bowl game history on Sports Radio The Ticket.
All right, this series continues. We will actually wrap it up tomorrow with another Fiesta Bowl MVP. But right now, holy smokes, maybe the greatest game in the history of football. And he was the defensive MVP of the 2007 Fiesta Bowl, the great Marty Tadman, joining us right now on Idaho Sports Talk. Marty, welcome back to IST. Before we get into it, obviously this show has been taken over today by the news that your former teammate Bush Hamdan will return to the Blue as the quarterback coach and offensive coordinator again. Marty, welcome. And initially, your thoughts on your teammate and I imagine one of your buddies coming back to the Blue.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And I just heard about that. So, I mean, having Bush back here is going to be nothing but good for the program. Anytime you can get guys back here that were around, I don't want to say the glory days, because I know it goes much further back than when I was there, but he saw it done the right way. He was part of that building program. He experienced success and knows what it takes to get there. So that's extremely exciting to hear for me. And then, yeah, on a personal level, I mean, he's a great guy. I mean, the players are going to love him. Him and Andy, I think, are going to get along great. And I think Bronco Nation has nothing but high hopes from my perspective anyway. So he's a great addition. Excited for him, and can't wait to see him again here in town.
I'm sure you'll be shooting him a text at some point like a lot of the former teammates will. And that's kind of where I want to go on my next question, Marty. This program, the way they love and do keep this thing in the family. I mean, you're a text away from guys in this building that you played with. I mean, the head coach just everybody, the way they do this. How cool is that for you as I know you're not all that old, but for a legend of this program like you are, to know that so many of your former teammates are still coaching this team and have those values that obviously the Boise State football players hold near and dear.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's an instant connection for me, and it's knowing that the program that I left, it's still there. That even though I'm not connected with the players anymore, I'm not there at every practice or game. Knowing Andy's running a program, I know I'm not at one practice, but I know how he's running things. And all around the country, people kind of ask what makes Boise State unique or special, and you can't describe it, and you can only experience it. And so the guys that I played with or that are there coaching, they're that secret sauce that you just can't teach. So I hope that there's never a guy in that position that I don't know myself. Because if there is, I mean, to me, it's a little concerning because you don't know what culture they're from or what they're bringing. So I love hearing, you have Pete and then Harsin and then Andy and Bush is here. And a lot of my former teammates have come through as assistants, and they're doing the right things in the right way. So whether or not the record always reflects it, the way we're doing things is not going to change.
Marty Tadman, 2007 Fiesta Bowl defensive MVP. We're going to dive into that story here in a second. One more quick question, Marty, on Bush Hamdan. Just listen to the Andy Avalos press conference, and he called it Bush Hamdan a leader multiple times. That was the one word he used over and over and over again. As you know, Bush Hamdan never really was a difference maker as a quarterback. But what do you remember about him growing up and maturing and being a leader and being a teammate and checking all the intangible boxes that Andy Avalos is looking for right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You see backup quarterbacks who he really never saw the field. That it went right from Z to Tharp to Kellen, and Bush was always positive. Bush was always excited about the next day, the next opportunity. You never saw him take a day off, even if he's the third string quarterback. He always had a positive outlook, and then always was encouraging the teammates involved in the game planning. And that's exactly what you want to see in any backup player. So I'm sure as a coach, he's taking that same positivity, that encouragement, and just going to lead all those players. And they're going to love playing for that guy, because it was fun just watching him on the sideline as a teammate cheering us on. So I'm sure as a coach, it's even better.
All right, Mr. Rockstar, let's dive into the Fiesta Bowl 2007. There was a pick six. There was a big old victory. There was all kinds of stuff going on. When you think back, and I know you don't spend a lot of time, you're a grounded family man who's moved on in life, and that's cool, dude. But what do you remember? What do you think about when you think about the 2007 Fiesta Bowl?
Oh, so much. And it's not that long ago. I mean, it's 15 years ago, but it's brought up in my life probably on a weekly basis still.
Yeah.
So a ton. I mean, the memories are all because of you guys and the fans. The game itself was incredible, but it's the support we got after and how big it got in the media after that made it completely unique. I remember the parade we had when we got back a few weeks later, where we're standing on the Capitol steps looking over like it's Wrigley Field or something, people on the roofs, parking lots filled, streets filled. That was a surreal moment for me. That's kind of when it all came together as this was different than just another victory. I remember that. I remember third down of the game, that place got so loud when I'm on the field that the ground started shaking, and I heard a noise I've never heard since or before that, just this white noise that almost made me throw up in the middle of the play. It was so loud. That deafening sound was incredible, and feeling the floor shake underneath you was incredible. I remember taking a knee, and it's 4th down and 18 or whatever it is, and thinking, how did we give this game away? And being as excited as any of the fans were to discover how did that hook and ladder work, especially when they did it all the time in practice and never had a chance against us as a defense.
You guys shut circus down in practice when they
every single time it was run as like a once a week thing. It never worked. I mean, they would fumble it, they'd drop it. We'd easily stay in our zones, and it was incredible. So so many memories. I actually just watched it with my kids.
Awesome.
About a month ago, we watched the shortcuts version where it skips from play to play, and I actually forgot about like the fourth quarter, the last drive Oklahoma had. We had like 3 pass interferences that were all bad calls, and they scored 2-point conversion and then the interception. I was like, oh my gosh, this was a pretty good game. I understand why people still talk about it.
We love it. Well, we're doing this series, getting ready for the Frisco Bowl, and Marty Tadman, the MVP, the defensive MVP of the 2007 Fiesta Bowl with us, 14 career interceptions, 4 career defensive touchdowns, and a 3-time all-WAC player. But we talk about this because we want to talk about the game specifically too, Marty. And, I want you to tell me about, OU on film. You guys had like a month to prep for this game. There wasn't a conference championship game back then, Marty. You probably had more than a month to get ready for this sucker. And what was the film process like? What stood out to you on Oklahoma? Obviously, other than maybe Adrian Peterson, you guys were looking around each other. Holy smokes, we got to contain this guy. What was that like, preparation for this game on the defensive side of the ball, Marty Tadman?
Yeah, when you have that much time to prepare and focus on one team, you get to know their tendencies so well, which is actually exactly how I had my interception for a touchdown. Was purely they ran one play out of that formation and that down and distance on that hash mark. They only had one play out of it. So
wow.
The studying we put into it and made it so that we actually, we study a team that much. You got to do some things well, but you know how to attack them. You know what their tendencies are. They were long and big, so they were, their tight ends were taller than we were used to and had longer reaches and a little faster. So that's always tough to prepare for. But from the defensive side, I felt like we were so well prepared for them. It was not that big of a shock that we shut them down pretty good for 3 quarters. So it was kind of easy, to be honest with you, going into it, thinking we know what we got to do. We know what they're doing, and we have a solid game plan. The thing to me was that it was, can we make it out of this game before their size starts wearing us down? And that's, to me, we barely did it. I mean, we get to overtime and our guys we're just so done with that size wearing on us and speed. And that's why Coach Pete ends up going for 2, I'm sure. I was just thinking we got to end it now because eventually that size and speed caught up. But we were prepared and it made it pretty easy.
Marty Tadman, I wanted to ask you about that gap in the size and the speed and that emotional angst that fans still are recovering from. You make that pick six about halfway through the third quarter. I believe at that point it's 28-10, and Boise State's feeling pretty darn good about themselves. Here comes Oklahoma with 4 straight scores. Put us inside your head, put us inside your gut and your heart, and what you were feeling on the sideline, because they had to be chipping away at your confidence, but obviously not enough to completely lose it.
No, I mean, it kind of felt like we were just letting them back in it. There's a fumble. I'm returning punts. There's a weird bounce. I let it go, and it bounces like 10 yards the opposite direction, and it hits a player in the foot, and they recover it and score.
Yep.
I think our offense had a fumble. They go down and score. We had a few penalties that were just uncharacteristic. So it just more felt like we were beating ourselves, and a little frustrating, but we still got it. It wasn't really until, Z threw that pick that it really, you kind of look at it and say, that's kind of the culmination of not just him, but all of us. We just beat ourselves and we had this game won. So at the same time, if you know Jared Zabransky, you never rule that guy out. So there's always something in the back of your mind thinking, we have a great coach. We have a crazy quarterback who's going to do anything it takes. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And we're not completely out of it. So I thought it was a great team effort that they slowly started chipping away, but we really beat ourselves. So confidence never really went away. I just thought we had to execute better and stop making mistakes, and kind of did that, I guess, but barely made it there.
One of the best defensive playmakers in Boise State football history with us, Marty Tadman, MVP of the 2007 Fiesta Bowl. And that's kind of where I'm going to leave you on that. I mean, you played great. You had the pick six, and just to be on that team, you said your memories on the sidelines, watching the hook and ladder and all that stuff. But Marty, you were MVP of the game. You got to stand on the podium with Z. I don't know. We talked to Thomas Spurbeck yesterday, and he said his trophy is in his garage. He doesn't even know where it is. Marty, what was it like for you to be named MVP of one of the greatest games in the history of the sport, certainly the program? And, I mean, I know Tadman Financial, if that's still going on, is your MVP trophy somewhere? Marty, what?
Yeah, it's surreal. It's humbling. I don't know if it's deserved. So it's still kind of a shock that I received the award. And yeah, standing on that stage, I still vividly remember the fans all there getting to talk and remember all that. I also remember how heavy the trophy was, having to carry it around for 4 hours during media afterward. And I'm not a very strong guy, so that was tough. But the trophy is in my office because my clients and people that come in from around town, I know they enjoy that stuff a lot more than, it'd be in my garage or somewhere in our house. So still got it front and center, see it every day at the office. It is still tremendous point of pride that I can say I was MVP of one of the greatest games. So it is something I feel awesome about. At the same time, very humbling just to think that I would possibly be considered for an honor like that in a game like that, when really it was a team effort. I mean, there were so many guys that contributed. Go talk to Taylor Tharp about him being the one who recommended the Statue of Liberty play. I mean, there's so many guys that contributed the whole year leading up to that game. So
wow,
it's an honor for sure. It's humbling. It's a moment of pride in my life. And I'm kind of upset they had 2 more Fiesta Bowls after that. I would have liked to have been the only, but I'm happy to be in the company of some great fellow teammates.
Well, Brent, we appreciate you, Marty, coming on here. We've been doing this series for a couple of weeks, and to rub it in just a little bit, we're going to have Brandon Thompson on tomorrow, the defensive MVP of the 2010 Fiesta Bowl. Join us at 5:15 tomorrow. Brandon Thompson, he was the second one to do it. Marty Tadman will always be first. Marty, last time we had you on, we've ended this series with a question like this to every one of you guys, just trying to catch up. Last time we had you on, you had your own financial company and 4 beautiful children. What's going on in your world these days?
Same. Yeah. Still running Tadman Financial, and kids getting bigger every day. 4 of them. Callie's 14. So I have a 14-year-old now, which is different than probably last time we talked. My daughter Briley's almost 13. Daughter Lila's almost 7. And then my only boy, in 2035 MVP of the Fiesta Bowl is Vita. So Bronco fans, if it doesn't turn around before then, just give it 13 more years.
I love it. Tadman's got teenage girls, dude.
Scary.
Uh-oh. Marty, this has been so much fun, and we appreciate you still being a fan, listening to Idaho Sports Talk on your commute there with Tadman Financial. And I know you're pumped about the Bush Hamden hiring as well. And this has been a lot of fun, Marty. Always appreciate you. We'll be in touch at some point, as you know. We got to talk about the Fiesta Bowl again at some point, so you know it.
Yep. Anytime you guys want, I appreciate you both, and thank you to all the fans out there. I appreciate it.
Great guy, Marty Tadman. Appreciate him. And Prater, I love this series, and you just let the cat out of the bag in terms of Brandon Thompson. Tomorrow at this time, we'll talk to BT about his Fiesta Bowl, and this is MVPs only, Prater.
MVPs only.
That's it.
We pulled a little bit of an elite move. MVPs only.
That's it.
Of bowl winning games,
Yes.
winning teams.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we got all the Fiesta Bowl guys except for Jared Zabransky, who's on vacation this week and enjoying himself, so we didn't want to bother him. He politely declined.
Or the NFL guys who are busy.
Or the NFL guys. They might be a little bit busy right now. But Brandon Thompson tomorrow at 5:15 as we wrap this sucker up. Appreciate all you guys. It's been fantastic. It's been a lot of fun. Ball game. This show. Spectacular.
Wow.
Let's move on, my friend.
Let's hop on some soapboxes. Ball game. Prater, and the ball game. This is Idaho Sports Talk. Love ya.
This is